Regularly scheduled programming will not be seen at this time so that we may bring you this special WPXI presentation. Dateline Pittsburgh, the blizzard of '93.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Teeling in the Storm Team 11 Severe Weather Center. Hard to believe it's already been a decade since the blizzard of '93 paralyzed western Pennsylvania. Tonight, we're going to take a look back at the storm of the century through the eyes of the people who lived through it. We'll also take a look at the tools we now have at our disposal to forecast these major storms. Now, the blizzard of '93 was the most intense winter storm to hit this area since the blizzard of 1950. And it was certainly one for the record books. We dug into the Channel 11 archives to remind you what it was like.
Saturday, March 13th, 1993. A snowstorm of monumental proportions was underway. When it finally ended, nearly 2 feet of snow had piled up, breaking the one-day record for total snowfall. Channel 11's Saturday Morning News was on the air as the storm hit.
Now, from the station voted best in the state by the Associated Press, Channel 11 News, Saturday morning. Fine day for a parade.
Call it the luck of the Irish, but the blizzard did not put a stop to the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade.
They say Chicago's the windy city. Come down here and see the Pittsburgh, because it's a bird thing.
We wouldn't miss St. Patrick's Day Parade for anything.
The snow started falling while most of us slept. PennDOT crews were prepared.
We're plowing. Anytime you get over 2 inches of snow, you're in a plowing mode.
But it wasn't long before Mother Nature got the better of the road crews.
With all the winds that we have and the blowing, it's once you plow the road, not too much later, it's covered back over again.
It's rough. It's no picnic, believe me. You know, you get the people with no snow tires on, that kind of thing. They tie up the traffic.
Motorists soon discovered how treacherous travel had become.
I'm going to get the buck, you know.
Every major airport on the East Coast was shut down. That included Pittsburgh International, where hundreds of weary commuters camped out overnight. With no flights in and no flights out, passengers slept anywhere they could.
Close to 700 passengers here in the terminal that's going to stay overnight, and so we're going to provide them with blankets and all that because hotels are full.
The malls closed. PAT buses experienced major delays. The Pennsylvania Turnpike and all interstate highways shut down. The governor declared a state of emergency, and the National Guard was called out to keep people off the roads.
And certainly this was a disaster.
Western Pennsylvania wasn't the only area affected by the blizzard of '93. Much of the country also felt the wrath of this mighty storm.
The blizzard of '93 is described as one of the largest and most intense storms in a century.
Basically, that storm is really a huge storm. It impacted a large portion of the country. Almost half the population of the U.S. was affected by that storm.
It paralyzed the eastern seaboard with record cold, high winds, heavy snow, and widespread whiteout conditions. Secondary roads were completely impassable. Planes were grounded at every major airport along the East Coast. Not even Florida was spared.
So not only did they get the tidal surge and the heavy rain, but they also got the severe weather and the tornadoes.
Weather forecasters saw this one coming for days.
So an awful lot of blizzard warnings went out well in advance of that storm.
And once it hit, it was with a vengeance.
The storm strengthened incredibly fast.
Before it was all over, damage totaled in the millions, and nearly 300 people died nationwide.
Now, the snow started falling while Kevin Benson was on duty right here in the Channel 11 Weather Center. It kicked off hours of continuous Storm Team 11 coverage.
First thing, it's hard to believe that that was 10 years ago, and I remember it happened on a weekend during my watch. The snow began on Friday nights. We were here Friday night, Saturday, Saturday night, Sunday, Sunday night, right on into Monday morning. And it was snowing practically continuously that whole time. You know, the other thing that I remember is looking at the satellite images. I'll never forget that because it was just a classic textbook example of a nor'easter. That storm just rolling right up the coast like a big snow-making machine, where it was just taking all the moisture from the ocean and blowing it back into the cold air that was here across western Pennsylvania. And that's what caused us to end up with almost 2 feet of snow.
To illustrate the magnitude of the snowfall, Kevin Benson took Channel 11 viewers outside into the elements during our continuing blizzard coverage.
And this gives you just a little bit of a feel for what's happening out here. Basically, two elements we're talking about. Number one, the snow, and it continues to fall from the sky and be blown around. Number two is the snowdrift. Take a look at this baby here. I'll see if I can't kick some of this out of the way for you here. And you can see just how severely the snow is drifting out here. Now, I'm standing on hard pavement right here. Here is the snow drift around one of the vehicles in the parking lot, and you can see it's a couple of feet high already.
And that made it nearly impossible for anyone to get on or off what we call Television Hill here in Fineview.
We were here at the station all weekend long, and we got to the point where there was really nothing to eat. So we made a plea on the air, and we were pleased to see pizza delivery folks came to the station. They were able to make their way to the station and provide us with some nourishment in the form of some delicious pizzas that we were able to enjoy here over the weekend. And I do remember it was just a classic blizzard, this kind of blizzard that you see maybe once or twice in a lifetime. Blowing snow, falling snow, drifting snow, howling wind. It was really just a classic Class A blizzard in every sense.
Boy, that is truly amazing. Now picture this. The snow is piling up. All the roads are closed. So what do you do if you're going into labor? Channel 11's Gina Redmond has the story of two local women who gave birth to blizzard babies.
March 13th, 1993, Brianna Oram came into the world in the middle of the blizzard. Complications made it necessary to send Brianna to Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. Helicopter transport was out of the question, so snowplows had to escort Brianna in an ambulance. Her mother, Christina Ward, spoke to Channel 11 News from her Washington hospital bed.
They said that she was strong, that she fought it.
And then God sent me a beautiful little girl who came in the middle of the biggest snowstorm since the 1940s.
Tracy Jones shares something in common with Christina Ward. She, too, gave birth during the blizzard. Her daughter, Shantea, is also turning 10 this week.
My mom said I was police escorted.
What should have been a 20-minute ambulance ride to the hospital took over an hour and a police escort because of the heavy snowfall.
All I just kept thinking was, oh boy, how are we going to get there? How are we going to get there, you know? I didn't know if the paramedics was going to make it, really. I didn't think I was going to make it. I really didn't.
Thanks to the escort, Tracy beat her doctor to the hospital. Good thing, because Shantea was born just 2 hours after Tracy went into labor.
But yeah, she's my snowstorm baby.
Where were you during the blizzard of '93?
It was a lot worse than this because it was colder.
What Pittsburghers remember about that record-breaking weekend when Dateline Pittsburgh, the blizzard of '93, continues. In February, you made Channel 11 Morning News your #1 choice for news from 5 to 7 a.m. You counted on meteorologist Julie Bologna and Storm Team 11 during severe weather.
Pittsburgh Airport, almost a foot of snow.
Traffic reporter Tricia Pittman for urgent traffic information.
Where we have an accident right now blocking the left-hand lane.
And our team of reporters to cover news that happened overnight. For live coverage of breaking news, watch Pittsburgh's #1 morning news, Channel 11 News from 5 to 7 a.m. Coverage you can count on.
The March to Lower Prices sale is on now at #1 Monroeville Dodge. Look, brand new 2003 Dodge Neons from just $89.98 or new Dodge Caravans from just $14,998. Are you going to shop anywhere else? I don't think so.
This weekend, Enterprise Rent-A-Car announces special low rates from just $9.99 a day. Friday till Monday from just $9.99 a day. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
1-800-RENT-A-CAR.
Introducing Trail Mix, new from Chex Mix. Candy-coated chocolatey pieces, raisins, yeah, all the other good stuff you want to bring along, and peanuts too. This is one trail you've got to hit. New Trail Mix from Chex Mix. Get on the trail. Get into the mix.
When you buy a suit from us, we'll press it for free at any of our 500 locations. And if you travel a lot, that comes in handy.
Lifetime free pressing. Men's Warehouse.
You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
The March to Lower Prices sale is on now at #1 Monroeville Dodge. Brand new 2003 Dodge Durangos from just $19,398 or new Dodge Dakota Quad Cabs from just $15,998. Are you going to shop anywhere else? I don't think so.
Bulldozers were out there and there was a lot of snow. It was nice because we don't get that anymore.
Very cold, a lot of snow. I had me stuck. I mean, there was no buses or anything I was able to move at that time, so it was pretty bad.
Well, you know, those are some incredible pictures, and you got to remember, a blizzard is something that you just never forget, and everybody has some kind of a story to tell afterwards. Channel 11 anchorman David Johnson, like many of the people we talked to, has vivid memories of that March weekend.
Well, I wasn't here when the storm hit Pittsburgh. It was one huge system that went all the way down to Florida, and I was in Florida visiting my sister. Down there, it was like a hurricane. Up here, it was a blizzard. Down there, rain, high winds. In the middle of the night, I could hear limbs breaking. I woke up the next morning, trees are all over the backyard where my sister lived, and I thought, what is going on? I turned on TV, watched CNN, and I saw the report kind of from Maine to Miami of the storm, and I saw the St. Patrick's Day parade marchers in Pittsburgh bravely marching down the street despite the high winds and all the snow. We weren't able to fly out right away, but when we did, we came back to the airport. The car snowed in, literally snow almost up to the roof. We didn't have a shovel, had to take a cab home, bring our four-wheel drive that we had back to the airport, and we shoveled it out. Took a long time, I remember that. That's some of what I remember, and I know other Pittsburghers have some very vivid memories.
Neither rain nor heat nor last month's President's Day snowstorm could keep this postal carrier from his appointed rounds in Squirrel Hill. The same held true during the blizzard of '93.
I was working. If I can remember, I think it started on a Saturday, and if I remember, they shut down some state roads and stuff, so we work out of East Liberty, Squirrel Hill, Shady Side, and East Liberty come out of that station in East Liberty, and there was like our section, Squirrel Hill, like half of the people reported to work. They weren't allowed on the roads. But whoever came to work went out and delivered the mail. And it wasn't no picnic, but we did it. It was a lot tougher than this. There was a couple days you couldn't even get out into the street. It was so bad because we also had ice, a lot more ice, and this is nothing.
James Washington has similar memories.
It seemed like then it was more snow. I remember it being higher. I remember it being colder also. This time the weather wasn't as severe in terms of the coldness, and the snow, the inches weren't as thick also. So it was better this time than then. I think 93 was a little worse.
Washington lived in Friendship back then.
My car wouldn't start, and I pretty much stayed in the house that entire time.
Greg Brooks remembers trying to fight his way across the state during the big blizzard.
I remember getting stuck in Wilkes-Barre for, I think, 3 days during the blizzard of '93, and then driving back on the turnpike and have it be one lane most of the way back. And then coming back and basically the city was like it is now, cars plowed in, people digging out.
See, I learned how to do this in a mill.
Retired steelworker Felix Manella remembers what it was like to dig out afterwards.
A lot of shoveling, just like this one. Basically, it was a little higher. I think the snow was maybe about close to 3 foot. I think this was pretty high too, but it kind of sank down, There was a lot of shoveling involved. Everybody had to shovel out their parking places. It was a lot worse than this because it was colder, and that the snow stayed around I think it stayed around for probably a whole week, at that time.
The blizzard of '93 is described by weather forecasters as a classic blizzard. Now, many of us call a severe snowstorm a blizzard, but that's incorrect. Storm Team 11 meteorologist Julie Bologna shares her memories of the blizzard of '93 and explains why true blizzards are so rare.
Well, I can remember the blizzard of '93 almost ruined my spring break. When I was a college student at Penn State, I had to go from Penn State back to Pittsburgh via the bus. And I remember going out that day, and it was just snowing very hard in the morning. It was really windy. Made it to the bus, though, but the bus driver felt bad for everyone that became stranded, so he started taking extra people on the bus. We were packed in tightly. People were standing in the aisles. The bus was swaying back and forth. We could hardly see anything with all the blowing snow. Luckily, we made it into Pittsburgh, but it took an extra 2 hours. My parents were waiting at the bus station. They just picked me up, threw me into the station wagon, drove me to the airport. We got there just in time to make a flight from Pittsburgh to Texas so I could see my sister who lived down there at the time. So it almost spoiled my vacation, but it was a terrible storm. Good thing for us, those storms don't happen that often. Rich Kane, a meteorologist for the National Weather Service, has been tracking storms for years. He says the 93 storm was the only storm in recent memory that fit all the criteria for a true blizzard. So what made that storm a blizzard and others just snowstorms?
When we have frequent or sustained winds or gusts to 35 miles an hour or greater, and visibility greatly reduced, quarter mile or less, in heavy snow and or blowing snow. And that has to persist for about 3 hours.
There are no temperature requirements for blizzards, but temperatures below 20 degrees can make already severe conditions even worse. We can get blizzard-like conditions when we get a strong Arctic cold front, but a true blizzard almost always starts with a nor'easter that turns into a monster.
It intensifies and strengthens very, very rapidly and has that strong winds, heavy snow that dumps snow over a large portion of the population. Again, with the heavy wind, with the strong winds and the heavy snow reducing visibility for a long period of time.
Many of us thought the storm that hit on this past President's Day was a blizzard since we got over 15 inches of snow, but it did not qualify for true blizzard status.
Really, it was just a heavy snowstorm. Didn't meet the wind requirements or visibility requirements.
Imagine being the only one on the road in the middle of a blizzard.
You couldn't see, you just crept ahead and hoped you didn't hit something.
A first-hand look at what it's like when Dateline Pittsburgh, the blizzard of '93, returns.
Michelina's bowls are just for me. Made it with the Mama Michelina's recipe. Not about much of best top of quality. Hey, Michelina's. Michelina's bowls are just the right size. Bowls of Michelina's for much to satisfy her. Top of quality and the personal surprise. Hey, Michelina's.
You sing bowls and home-style bowls from Michelina's.
Top quality and the price of nice surprise. Hey, Michelina's.
Now, Auto News Today, brought to you by Century 3 Chevrolet.
The latest news from Chevrolet is big rebates to $4,000 or never pay interest on your 5-year loan.
That's 0% APR for 60 months on new 2003 vehicles like Cavalier, S10, and Tracker. Or drive a brand new 2003 Malibu with 0 down and just $199 a month.
Offer good through Saturday. That's the good news. Have a good day.
Auto News Today, brought to you by Century 3 Chevrolet.
Lebanon Church Road, Pittsburgh.
Minutes from the mall.
Come on, hurry.
Deep breath, honey.
Just breathe.
Go to your place. Go to your quiet place. Okay.
Got a craving for lots of pecans and a New Orleans-style praline sauce? Do a new pecan praline parfait. And DQ something different.
What is the Subaru all-wheel drive away? It's financing as low as 0% on the all-wheel drive Outback, 0% on the all-wheel drive WRX, 0% on the all-wheel drive Legacy, and 0% on the all-wheel drive Forester. Every Subaru is built with all-wheel drive. And every Subaru is at an all-time low through March 31st. So head to the Subaru all-wheel drive away for incredible deals on every Subaru today.
We kept taking pictures of our yardstick out back on our deck, and when it got up to 26 inches, we said, that's it, we're done.
Well, we've had quite a winter so far this year with 60.9 inches of the snow piling up so far. Now, road crews have certainly been busy, but it's nothing like what they faced during the blizzard of '93. Channel 11's Peggy Finnegan has the story of 4 local men who were out on the streets during that storm.
You knew it was coming, but you never knew what to expect. Like this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. The world was white.
It was one hell of a storm.
A lot of cars on the side of the road, buried in snow. I remember that. A lot of snow drifts.
93 was, I guess, properly classified the storm of the century.
Rob Kazarowski, Joe Gray, Bob Crawford, and Carmen Ann Gotti,
4 road workers who share a unique experience. They were out on the highways when no one else could be, battling the snow that just kept coming.
Yeah, it's an adventure, really. I think you're kind of excited a little bit because you've never seen anything like this before.
For the amount of snow we got, come 6 o'clock Monday morning, we had the roads, they were, open, ready for traffic with no problems.
Joe, Carmen, and Bob all work for PennDOT. Rob Kazarowski was a foreman for the city back then. He remembers his wife marching in the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
As I was watching her march down Fifth Avenue, the snow started coming, and it kept on coming, and I knew the call was coming for me to get into work.
All 4 men agree they've seen a lot of snowstorms, but nothing can compare to the blizzard of '93.
A lot of snow.
You couldn't see, you just crept ahead and hoped you didn't hit something.
But I was always worried about hitting somebody, and then when you had the cars buried in the snow, you never knew if there was any behind it, because a lot of the times they were buried, you couldn't see them. But you have to put that in the back of your mind too. You just go out there and do what you got to do.
Like the snowplow operators, news crews had to brave the elements during the blizzard of '93. It was a tough job and made even tougher by the storm.
A news photographer's job is especially challenging. Channel 11's Tim Holloman has been doing it for nearly 20 years, but he's never seen anything like the blizzard of '93.
We were out here in this parking lot right here doing live shots, Kevin Benson and I.
Let's see if we can get the microphone cable over here. My photographer, Timmy Holloman, doing a heck of a job here.
And I guess at that time we had maybe a foot, and that was early Saturday morning, and Kevin was out here with a yardstick measuring it. We would do a little bit of an update. And we both thought, it's really snowing, but we really thought it would be that bad. But I realized once we went onto the roads how bad it was going to be.
I know you had some trouble during the midst of this storm out on the highway with, I believe, the National Guard. Tell me what happened there.
We were at the airport, and the roads were closed. Only the National Guard was on duty then. So we pulled out of the airport, and all the roads were closed, and you really couldn't see in front of you. And I was trying to get onto the interstate and actually couldn't find the road, so we kind of got stuck. So the other photographer and I were looking at each other, and he was a little nervous, and we got out and surveyed the situation and eventually got out of the ditch, and the Explorer made it onto the highway. So as we were driving the wrong way on the highway, you really couldn't tell if there was a road or whatever. It was just a space, and we seen all these cars with snow covered on them. And I seen a light at the end of the interstate, and it was coming at me, so I thought maybe it was a plow or something. And here it was the National Guard, and they were very, very furious that we were out during the night.
What did they say to you?
And they said that the roads were closed, there was a national emergency, that there isn't any reason for you to be out here. And we told them we were a news crew, and they didn't really care that we were a news crew. And we said we were trying to get to the hotel, and they let us pass. So we did make it there that night.
Did you have to spend the whole weekend at the airport?
We were there from when it was closed to when it reopened the following day.
And how long a period was that?
I guess it was closed maybe around noon on Saturday, and it didn't reopen, I believe, till maybe about 6 or 7 on Sunday evening before it reopened. There was people sleeping all over the place. Actually, there was people sleeping in the people movers because you could lay down in the people movers between the air side and the land side.
Anywhere to get comfortable.
Anywhere to get comfortable.
What stands out in your mind the most, like the conditions when you were driving that day? Explain to me what it was. Was it a true blizzard?
It was a true blizzard because we get snow, but we don't really get that wind. And it was very windy, very cold. As soon as you went outside, the wind would just bite your face. You knew you were in severe conditions. So if you weren't prepared, for it, you were going to be in trouble.
How has weather forecasting changed in the past decade? Details from the Storm Team 11 Severe Weather Center when Dateline Pittsburgh, the blizzard of '93 returns.
The hunter has high hopes as she sets out for the day. Patiently she waits and watches for her opportunity. There, she sees her prey. She moves slowly so as not to attract other predators to the bounty. Stealthily she approaches. It's just a matter of time now. Her target doesn't have a chance. This season's name brand shoes at incredible prices. DSW. Get more shoes.
The death of Fred Rogers has deeply touched all of us at the Western Pennsylvania Caring Foundation. As our honorary chairman, Fred partnered with us to identify uninsured children. As Fred said, we show our love to our children by helping them to grow up healthy. Free health insurance is available. If your children are uninsured, call 1-800-KIDS-105.
You're watching Dateline Pittsburgh, the blizzard of '93.
Weather technology has advanced quite a bit in the decades since the blizzard of '93. Storm Team 11 has the latest high-tech equipment to track a storm from its very beginning, hundreds of miles away until it hits right in your neighborhood. Now, one of the most important tools that we have here is Predictor. These are maps that meteorologists have used for years to track storms. But with Predictor, we have a much better way to see a storm's development. Predictor is unlike any other computer model. It uses twice as much local data to give us a much more accurate forecast for you here in the Pittsburgh area.
Another important tool that we use to track storms is Doppler radar. When the radio waves from a Doppler radar system hits stationary clouds or precipitation, they bounce back unchanged. If the clouds are moving toward the antenna, the returning waves are squeezed like an accordion. Clouds moving away spread out the waves. A computer analyzes the waves and translates them into a map showing the speed and direction of weather systems. Live storm warning Doppler 11 radar can see up to 300 miles away. It can zoom in to street level mapping to see when those storms will hit your neighborhood.
AWS, our automated weather system, also helps us prepare a forecast for your specific neighborhood through monitoring devices located in area schools. Well, can you believe it? This half hour is over with, and that's it for this edition of Dateline Pittsburgh. We hope you've enjoyed our look back at the blizzard of '93. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Teeling in the Storm Team 11 Severe Weather Center. We leave you with one last look at the blizzard of '93. Good night.
A local school district struggling to pay its bills. The story at 11.
In February, you made Channel 11 Morning News your #1 choice for news from 5 to 7 a.m. You counted on meteorologist Julie Bologna and Storm Team 11 during severe weather.
Pittsburgh Airport, almost a foot of snow.
Traffic reporter Tricia Pittman for urgent traffic information.
Where we have an accident right now blocking the left-hand lane.
And our team of reporters to cover news that happened overnight. For live coverage of breaking news, watch Pittsburgh's #1 morning news, Channel 11 News from 5 to 7 a.m. Coverage you can count on.